This is Bruce Boudreau, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and it's time for Clay's Canucks commentary live. Let's go with Clay right now.
Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am Canuck Clay, and this is indeed my Canucks take, all in one take, for Thursday, October the 13th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, members. And thanks to all of you, no matter where you're watching from, whether you're in my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston, in Richmond, in the city, in the Lower Mainland, in the province, in the country, on the continent, or around the world. Thank you for being here. I do not take you for granted, and I'm so excited about the community that we are building. I'm actually pretty close to 9,400 subscribers now. I think maybe doing that Steve Dangle show helped a little bit. Doing this helps a little bit, of course, and I think the Canucks starting to play regular season games, that helps out the most. So thank you. While you're here, subscribe so you can leave comments in the chat. Like the video, so because I always like it when people like the video, and you can leave donations, you can gift memberships, you can become a member, you can upgrade your membership, and or simply talk in the comment section and interact with one another. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. Thank you very much. And don't forget, I'll go for the first few minutes, and then halfway through the show, I'll ask you a question, and then I'll turn it over to you for the second half of the show. And as always, you don't have to wait for me though. You can be talking to each other in the chat, just that I won't pay too much attention to it yet, unless it's a compliment or an insult that really catches my eye, or a donation that comes through, because those light up really bright on my screen, and I will highlight the one that Lucas just gave. So thank you, Lucas. Always starting off the donation train. Says, I'm so glad to finally get this off my chest. The yet to be named theme event I referred that I mentioned a few streams back was indeed the Bieksa retirement night. I knew this for a bit now. So scoops coming through. Lucas, thank you very much for the donation as always. So before I talk about Kevin Bieksa, let's talk about last night's game, now that we've had a night to sleep on it. And just as I didn't get too hyped or too worried or too excited about preseason, I'm not going to freak out about last night's game. I said this yesterday, and now that I've slept on it, I'll say it again. The Canucks did a lot of things well. Their 5-on-5 play, and I think Pettersson and Hsmfangirl were really good. And there were some players that played quite well. Of course, there are a lot of things that did not go well for them, including their special teams. Power play was bad. Penalty kill was worse. And it's not an excuse, but every time Connor McDavid got the puck, you knew something crazy was going to happen, and he showed it tonight for sure. So I'm not too worried. It's one game. I've always said the Canucks were going to go 2-2-1. And I actually pegged them to lose the game one. Then they better win Saturday in Philly. Then we'll see what happens for the rest of the trip. But overall, 5-3. Even though we were winning 3-0, I never felt completely comfortable, for sure. Just because you stare at the other side of the lineup and you see who's there. But at the same time, the Canucks did a lot of things well, and I'm not going to freak out that they lost their first game. But I expect a really, really good performance from them on Saturday in Philly, who actually won tonight. Philly, they're supposed to be really bad, but they won 5-2. Other games of note: Pittsburgh beat Arizona 6-2. Buffalo beat Ottawa 4-1. It was Florida over the Islanders 3-1. Maple Leafs, inspired by The Rock, beat the Capitals 3-2. Rangers pummeled the Wild 7-3. Stars beat the Preds 4-1. Flames beat the Avalanche. That was an exciting game, 5-3. Golden Knights shut out the Blackhawks 1-0, and the Seattle Kraken beat the LA Kings 4-1. So a couple Pacific Division teams in action, and then basically Vegas is 2-0, Seattle's 1-0-1, Calgary's 1-0, Edmonton's 1-0, Anaheim's 1-0. So already 5 teams in the Pacific have wins. It's time for the Canucks to get theirs, and that will be on Saturday. So again, thank you, Lucas, for starting off the donation train. I appreciate that. And then continuing on the train, is just incredible. So the legends coming through. Thank you, Lucas. And now thank you, Justin. Let's give both of them some love. Justin says this: in tribute to Juice, got a lowerable ticket to the retirement game for $82 face value. Lots of great tickets still available. Will that be one of the games you're going to, Clay? Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Justin, because as of now, I just sold my Upper Bowl tickets 2 days ago to someone from my church community who doesn't know anything about hockey, and now they are going to that game, which is cool. Then for the Lower Bowl, I had all four at the start of the day, and then I sold one pair to a friend at church, and then Jason, Sean, and I are figuring out as we speak what we're going to do with the other pair. So yes, that game is in high demand. But Justin, I'm glad that you snagged a ticket. I wasn't planning to go on that game actually. I might do the Steve Dangle post game show, but we'll see. Now I kind of want to get in there and see what happens. And by the way, so thank you, Justin, for that. And I saw Sandeep says watching from Jalandhar, Punjab, India. Last show I was in London, England. So let's give some love to Sandeep watching from truly the other side of the world. We've had people from Russia and from Australia, and now someone from India. So that is pretty cool. Thank you, Sandeep. I'm glad you're watching me wherever you are traveling to throughout this world. That is pretty cool. So once again, Justin and Lucas, thank you for your donations. And let's get talking about Kevin Bieksa. Now, I'll talk about him for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then I'll throw it over to you. Kevin Bieksa, number 3, right shot D-man. I know a lot of people were hoping that he was going to sign more than a 1-day contract with the Vancouver Canucks. So if you heard the news, Kevin Bieksa signing a 1-day contract. He's going to for Thursday night, November the 3rd, so he can officially retire from the NHL and retire as a Vancouver Canuck. Now, of course, he was drafted by the Canucks back in 2001. Didn't start playing with the big club until 2005. So it took him 4 years to get up to the big club, and we know of his journey coming up at basically the same season as Alex Burrows and Ryan Kessler. So the three of them, the three amigos, and they come up and they had an instant impact on the Canucks, making them tougher to play against, and also just kind of bringing a new spirit, a new pugnaciousness, if that's even a word. Definitely some trash talking, more personality. I think that's the word I was looking for. And then Kevin Bieksa had a 10-year career with the Vancouver Canucks, and we'll talk about some of his highlights in a second. So 10-year career with the Vancouver Canucks, and then he goes to Anaheim. In my vlog today, I messed up. I said he left as a free agent, but no, he got traded on June 30th, 2015 to the Anaheim Ducks for a 2016 second-round draft pick. Bieksa was set to make over $4 million, I think, or $3 or $4 million in the final year of his contract. Jim Benning, in a wise move, we got to give him credit, did say that at that time that was too much to pay for a team that was in transition, so they traded him away for a second-round pick. And then Bieksa played for 3 years in Anaheim and then stopped playing, started to do some media, especially on Hockey Night in Canada. People loved his attitude. They loved his communication skills, loved the way that he could explain things, have fun with the panel, all of those good things. But then he stopped playing 4 years ago. He's been broadcasting for some of those 4 years, running hockey schools and everything. And then the news came out today that he's going to sign a 1-day contract with the Canucks on November 3rd. Now, we do know the story of 2 years ago, just as the pandemic started. He was supposed to come up and do this 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, at the end of March 2020. The Ducks were going to play in Vancouver, and apparently he had talks with Jim Benning and the club to do it at that time. But then pandemic stopped the season in its tracks. That game never happened, and here we are 2.5 hours later. Not 2.5 hours later, 2.5 years later. 2.5 hours later, that would be a quick turnaround. 2.5 years later. That's what happened when I'm trying to read the chat as I'm trying to finish the sentence. So this could have happened 2.5 years ago, but it is going to happen now next month. I think a lot of people, and I vlogged about this earlier today, I think a lot of people's most fond memory or fondest memory of Kevin Bieksa was the stanchion goal in Game 5, 2011, San Jose Sharks. I think it was Edler or someone rimmed it off the boards or off the glass. Everyone was looking towards the net because that's the direction the puck was going. And instead, it comes out to the middle. Bieksa one times it towards the goal. Then no one else. Yeah, Sean just gave me the fist bump on the way through. He remembers that too. No one knew where the puck was except for Bieksa, especially the San Jose goalie. And next thing we know, confetti, cheering, screaming, tackling, probably some swearing, and the Canucks were off to the Stanley Cup final. So that was an amazing moment to be sure. And I was lucky to be there to see that happen in person. Then on my vlog today, I asked for other favorite memories. Bieksa. So a lot of people brought up the Superman punch, and it's not just one. I was watching some highlights actually earlier tonight. He actually has done that move in a lot of fights where he'll jump up and not like super high. It's not like he's trying to jump over the player, but he'll at least do a hop and a punch with his right hand. And he's got like Bieksa can fight. So he would often start his fights with that punch. And I saw one Rako Gudis where he knocked him down the very first punch. Others, you try to get it away mid-fight, but that's a little more dangerous. But to start off a fight with the Superman punch, that's what a lot of people remembered as well. A lot of people remember just how tough he was, how he was willing to drop the gloves. I also made mention of the fact that he did so much in the community. He was a great leader on and off the ice, instrumental in the hockey talks, getting that instituted with the Vancouver Canucks in honor of his teammate Rick Rippon. So that was another great thing that Bieksa did. Someone also brought up Vernon Fiddler of Dallas Stars at the time, skating by the Canucks bench and making fun of Bieksa, kind of just shaking with a scowl on his face. And that was the time that he got Alain Vigneault cracking up behind the bench, and Vigneault had to put a piece of paper, his lineup card in front of his face because he was laughing so hard. So there's that memory as well. So that was someone imitating Kevin Bieksa. So a lot of good memories. I think what we remember about him is he had a couple of really good offensive seasons, over 40 points. I think 44 was his career high. So he could chip in offensively. He was a good skater, not the amazing skater, but he's a pretty good skater. But he's a right shot guy who was rugged, who would stand up for his teammates. And just overall a pretty complete player, and not only a good player, but a good leader on the ice and off the ice as well. So 10 really, really good seasons. He gave his heart and soul to the team, kind of the guy you love to have on your team, but you hate to play against. And it's kind of cool that he's coming back to retire as a Vancouver Canuck. And again, that's on Thursday, November the 3rd. Now, one story I'll tell you guys real quick, and then I'll turn it over to you. You guys know for a while that Kevin Bieksa had me blocked on Twitter. And then I've had many people, including some of you loyal viewers, would actually write to him and say, "Why are you blocking Canuck Clay? He's the nicest guy. What did he do to you? Da da da." And I checked earlier today, unless it's changed now, he can. I checked earlier before I came on there, and he has unblocked me. Maybe he'll block me again, but right now I'm unblocked. I can see his tweets because I follow him. But it was funny. It was July 1st, 2015, and the Canucks had just traded Kevin Bieksa. I can't remember if they traded or they let Eddie Lack walk. And then right when we were practicing to record our Canucks music video, they traded Zach Kassian I think it was to Montreal for Brandon Prust. So we did a Boys to Men song, "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday," and we called it It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Zach. Here it is, Zach, Kevin, and Eddie. And yes, it was it was Bieksa and Lack that were leaving the team. And then we got word while we were filming it that Zach Kassian was traded as well. So instead of "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday," it was "So Hard to Say Goodbye, Zach, Kevin, and Eddie." So it was Marie Huey, of course. It was Ariel Tuliao. It was my good friend Joseph, his girlfriend at the time, now wife Marion. 4 really good singers, and me in the background just mumbling some bass notes. And then we recorded it. Did okay. It wasn't amazing, but it did pretty good. But then next thing I know, Kevin Bieksa blocked me on Twitter. And then I joked around at the time, and I joked around for many times. I didn't know if it was because he didn't like my singing. I didn't know if it was because he didn't like any songs about the Canucks, about him. And maybe because it got some traction, maybe he didn't like how many people were tagging him on Twitter. I don't know. But for the longest while, he had blocked me on Twitter, but he has since rectified that. And even when he had blocked me, I was still a fan of him when he was in Anaheim. I didn't follow him super closely, but I did obviously appreciate all he did for the Vancouver Canucks. And then, of course, liked him when he was doing his media stuff as well. But all is good in the world. And that is my Kevin Bieksa story. And if you want to watch that video, I won't play it in here because I might get copyright dinged. I can't remember if I got copyright dinged back when I actually posted it. So I put it in there right now. You can have it on in the background. You can watch it as soon as we're done. But there is the song right there that, there's the song that we did for Kevin Bieksa, Eddie Lack, and Zach Cassian. I am halfway through the show now, so I'll do my mid-show sponsor thank yous. And this is your time now to start getting your questions and comments in. But let's start with this. What's your favorite Kevin Bieksa memory? And it could be one that I've talked about already, but it might be a new one. What is your favorite Kevin Bieksa memory? And how about this? If he was on this team right now, who would you pair him up with? Would you pair him up with Oliver Ekman-Larsson, with Quinn Hughes, or young Jack Rathbone, or Travis Dermott? Let me know. Put that in the comments as well. So let's thank these sponsors. Firstly, thanks to my lead sponsor, Van City Experts Real Estate. Contact Jason Lim for all of your real estate needs. Jason is an awesome supporter of me and of this community. Thank you to Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. You can sign up now for a free 7-day trial. Use the link that is scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now, performandtransform.ca/CanuckClay. Also, thank you to my sponsors, the maker of this awesome artwork, Gassy Jack Art, Monkey 9 Brewing, my eternal sponsor, and Vessi Footwear. I have a new pair of Vessis. I haven't opened it yet. I might do an unboxing maybe on the weekend. We will see. Well, there it goes. But yes, use the code CanuckClay at checkout at vessi.ca and get $15 off every pair of Vessi shoes that you buy. So thank you once again to all of my sponsors. Let's get to your comments now. Edmund says, favorite Bieksa moment, Game 5 OT versus Sharks. Indeed. And just representing Rick Rippon. That was a really good memory for sure. Looks like there's some talk about some ownership that I missed. I have to go back and read that a little bit later. Fangirl, the stanchion goal and the work with Hockey Talks. Yes, our highlights. Excellent. So same memories of Edmund, but that's a really good memory for sure. So good in the community. Jaskrin, favorite Kevin Bieksa memory was when he blocked you. Well, thanks a lot, man. I would pair him with Hughes because no one would mess with Hughes if Bieksa was on the ice. Yes, and Bieksa is smart enough. He's got enough offensive ability. He can skate where it's not like he would be left in the dust all the time. Sure, he would be the stay-at-home guy between the two, but that would be a very dynamic duo for sure. For sure. Coach Rob, the one where the player was mimicking him and Alain Vigneault was laughing. Yes, that was Vern Fiddler of the Dallas Stars at the time. That was pretty funny. Just incredible. His constant efforts with mental health and Rick Rippon, his reaction to the Vernon Fiddler imitation, and his quote, shot. Yes, Bieksa, I'd pair him with Rathbone on the third pair. Okay. So maybe a steadying force for Rathbone. By the way, a couple of you noticed that it said Clay Emo on my channel for a little bit. I'm so silly, you guys. I thought it was a setting in Google, but no, right in YouTube in my own profile, I realized I could change so I can't remember what it used to be a long time ago, and then I know it's been Clay Emo for the last couple of weeks, so I'm back to Canuck Clay, which makes a lot more sense. Japan says, yeah, he was doing the Robert De Niro. Oh, I see. Funk you. I worked at a thrift store. Rule: employees are not to buy anything newer than 3 days of being on the sales floor. A Bieksa jersey came in one day, so I snooked to the back and called Nana to get it. Okay, that is smart. I thought for a second you were going to say that you snuck it to the back and put it in your backpack, but I'm glad that you did the proper thing and got your a relative to come and buy it for you. Very, very good. Lucas says Bieksa's work with mental health, awesome. Edmund, Bieksa pairing with Willie Mitchell was a great tandem. They were indeed a really, really good pairing for sure. Shannon, Coach Rob does unboxing YouTube videos, and yes, that would be good for you to do. Yes, I've seen some of Rob's stuff. Rob's got a lot of cool content on his channel. Unboxing, food tasting, cooking, running a half marathon, whatever that was. That's pretty cool. JDS says my favorite moment was when we were in the playoffs and he scored that overtime winner. Yes, against the Sharks. Funk you. I liked when he saved an empty net goal and then scored what I believe was the game tying or go ahead goal. Yeah, I don't remember that, but I'm going to take your word for it for sure. C-Edits. Hey, C-Edits. Bieksa and Hughes' favorite moment was the hilarious interview with Bieksa and Burrows from 2011. Were they? Tell me more about that, C-Edits. I'm going to have to look that up. I can't remember that off the top of my head. Yes, Justin, actually, that was one of the videos I was watching earlier was him knocking out Patrick Marleau. Fangirl, when a player gets traded, do the player's agent need to be informed beforehand? Often it's the agent that is in on it, but yes, usually, not always though, usually the agent gets informed and or the player gets informed, but once in a blue moon, you'll hear of a player hearing about it through social media, which isn't the best look, but yes, it makes good common sense and it's good business practice to let the agent know, but a lot of times it's the agents that are being consulted during the trade. Jasper, imagine Tucker Pullman in a race against McDavid. Don't worry, I have faith in Pullman. That would not be great, but Pullman actually did not play that poorly yesterday. Bieksa roasting the Sedins during the Sedins jersey retirement, describing the Sedins connection and telepathy on the ice and calling it cheating. Yes, I forgot to mention that tonight, Justin, but I did mention it in my vlog earlier today. That was an excellent, he did a great job as the MC for that retirement ceremony. Charles fan, Wyatt Johnson scored his first goal in the NHL with the Dallas Stars. He's only 19 and played for OHL. Well, thank you. I don't know anything about him, but I trust that it's important to you, and I respect that. So congratulations to Wyatt. Yes, Shannon reaction videos. He has those as well. Mr. Joker, Clay, I saw you in SDPN, the Steve Dangle Podcast Network. Is that a one-time thing, or is that something that will happen regularly? That I am one of 3 hosts, along with Sam Chang and Kaya May. So yeah, we won't always be, it will be very rare actually that all 3 of us are on the same show. That was because they wanted to introduce all 3 of us as the host for this market. But yeah, if it works out well, I will do 1/3 of the games. So I haven't done post-game live streams in about two seasons now. I was one of the first ones doing it. I was the first one doing it actually on a nightly basis. And then I got away from it for the last couple of years. And now I'm back doing it, and I'll probably do about 1/3 of the season. Kaya's probably going to do the most, so we'll call her Demko. Then Sam will do the second most. She can be Martin, and I guess that makes me the Colin Delia. Yes, Funk you. Yeah, Mr. Joker, I hope you keep watching that. I hope all of you keep watching it. It's great. And then I went back and watched it, and I saw some of your comments in there, so I appreciate everyone that did double duty for me last night. Funk you. The helmet drop kick was also amazing. I remember that. And I remember Kellen Lane's first NHL game. Bob Hartley was just being an awful individual. Yes, coaching the Flames, the line brawl, and Bieksa protected Lane, and he took the opening face-off. That's right. I remember that. And then that's when Tortorella also stormed the dressing room. That unfortunately was probably the turning point of that season because the Canucks were in a playoff position before that. Jasker, and I remember Bieksa interviewed the Canucks locker room after winning the game against the Flyers in October 2019. His one question to Horvat was, why is Mizey so tall? I don't remember that. That sounds kind of funny. Lucas says, I'm assuming Bieksa jerseys will be worn on November 3rd. Yeah, that's a good point. The warm-up jerseys, and maybe will be sold in Team Store. That is an excellent point. Shannon, let me see if I'm right. Bieksa is signing and then playing one game with the Canucks so he can retire as a Canuck. Does Bieksa not go on the shows after the games and talk? So you got most of it right, Shannon. He's not gonna play for the Canucks, but he is gonna be property of the Canucks. So he's gonna sign a 1-day contract to be with the organization. Then he'll retire and he won't play. And then I don't know if he'll do a show that night, but I don't think he's still on Hockey Night in Canada this year. I haven't seen him yet, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Jaskrin says he's happy to, he didn't say he's happy, but I'll say Jaskrin's happy to be the one to remind people today to hit the like button. Jaskrin is a smart guy. Bernadette, my favorite moment was the Stanley Cup playoff 2011 for the Canucks. Very good. JDS says we'll beat the Flyers on Saturday. That's the plan. Shannon thanks Lucas for explaining. Awesome. Jaskrin says, Clay, you're almost caught up. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, smaller group today, smaller crowd today. Sidhu, my favorite movie star was at my second favorite NHL team game tonight, the Leafs. So yes, that was probably The Rock that you are talking about. Favorite part about that 2011 Cup run. My favorite moment was the Burrows slaying the Dragon, beating Chicago in the first round. But my favorite thing overall, Fangirl, was the fact that we were on the precipice of winning the first Stanley Cup in then our 40-year history. And I really thought when I was at Game 7 that I would see a Stanley Cup win. And maybe it would be the only time I would see one in my lifetime. So that was the most exciting thing, just the hope and the belief that we could actually do it. Sandeep, on Hockey Night in Canada, when Brian Burke was part of it, Bieksa said to the panel, did you guys know Berkey drafted the Sedins? Like, I'm sure he was being sarcastic. Justin, Bieksa comments in the interview to media about Kessler's modeling gig and posing with no clothes on. Juice comedy was always top notch. He's good. He's got a good way with words and he's got good comedic timing. Jasmine says, Clay, I hate games at 1 p.m. I'm presuming you mean 1 p.m. in the East, so they're 10 a.m. here. Do you like the games early? I don't mind them, actually. I don't mind if it's a couple a year. I wouldn't want all 82 games to be like that. But I don't mind if it's a couple games a year, especially if the Canucks win, then you're in a good mood for the rest of the day, and then you have the rest of your day to do stuff. Sidhu says, yep, it was The Rock. Lucas, I know Mike Modano did a one-day contract to retire as a star. Yeah, good one. I think it's not as uncommon as we may think. Tanner, do you think Spencer Martin could be better than Demko one day? I don't think so. Are they the same age? I know, isn't Martin 27? I'm sure Demko is close to that age, maybe a bit younger. But no, I do not think that Spencer Martin will be as good as Thatcher Demko. Thatcher Demko is 26 years old and Spencer Martin is 27 years old. Tanner, do we trade Martin? Oh, I missed it. I misclicked. Do we trade Martin if he wants to be the starter because Demko's the starter? Tanner, I don't think Spencer Martin realistically is going to profess to be the starter or think he's going to be the starter. So I think that's a non-issue right now. Can someone tell me if the 2011 run with the Canucks is where they won? They almost won the cup in the riots. Unfortunately, that is the year. The Rock was sure cooking something at the Leafs game. See, it was a 2011 locker room one where Kessler was filming. Bieksa looked at the cameraman while talking about his embarrassing gear, saying, he's giving me the death look. And Burrow said, really, he's right there? Okay, I have to look that up. And I probably did not do justice with my cold read right there for sure. I'll finish that sentence. Thatcher Demko is the best goalie in Canucks franchise. Do you mean in history or right now? Sidhu, do you know that How I Met Your Mother star, I don't know how to say this, Kobe Smulders was at the Canucks Coyotes game? Yes, I was there. I saw her. They put her on the screen. She even wore a Canucks jersey in an episode of the show. Yes, I think that was good. And she was met with a lot of fanfare when they put her on the screen for sure. Oh, I see what you're saying. This Saturday afternoon. Yeah, it's at 1 p.m. our time, but 4 p.m. in Philly. That's actually good because I'm going to a wedding in the morning. Then I can come back and watch the second and the third. And then I have to go MC a wedding reception, which is what I'm going to work on in 5 minutes when we are done here. And yes, Sohail, I'm very excited about the game on Saturday. A chance for the Canucks to get in to the win column. Lucas says the Canucks history dates back to 1945. If the Canucks win the cup, we'd bring the cup back to Vancouver for the first time since 1915. Yes, but this current iteration of the Vancouver Canucks came into the year in 1970, but I hear what you're saying, that there was hockey in Vancouver before the Canucks. I think there's going to be a pregame tribute to him. I don't think it's going to be long and drawn out, but recognition of him prior to puck drop. I'm sure they'll do a tribute video of some sort. Jaskrin says, Clay, you look strong and buff. I appreciate that. I actually got to be, I'm okay. I'm not as fit as I was last year at this time, but I feel okay. And I think the shirt makes me look more buff than I actually am. But thank you, Jaskrin. You can comment me all you want. The Rock was cooking up the promotion of Black Adam. Gotcha. Am I trying to impress Gail? I impress her just by who I am, Jaskrin. No. I think I wish I could spend more time with Gail, but she always goes to bed really early. Then I just hitting my stride around this time. So, and then I end up studying or doing work afterwards. Or tonight I'm preparing for a wedding reception. But thank you, Jaskrin. Always trying to impress Gail. Thoughts on the Oilers charging $36.50 for 2 bags of popcorn and 2 drinks? Guess they have to justify paying McDavid somehow, but it's just insane pricing for food and drink. Yeah, I saw a lot of hate for that on social media yesterday. Correct. They don't play. It's just to be with the organization. The Canucks should retire Luongo's number this season. I don't know if that's going to happen because isn't he retired in Florida? But then he is Hockey Hall of Fame. I don't know what's going to happen. If you had the opportunity, would you get another dog? Not while Mickey's here, fangirl. It would be fun to see Mickey interact with another dog, but we get that with Troy when Fernanda's dog is here. So I think we're good with one for now. So hey, Gail is my lovely wife. So you must be new to the channel, which is awesome. I'm glad you are here. But yes, Gail is my wife. Just incredible. Can you confirm that the beer at the Canucks games is $22? Because that's expensive as well. Jaskrin says Florida already retired Luongo's number. Yes, indeed. Fangirl, thoughts on the fine for Darnell Nurse? I don't like Nurse. He's just annoying. He's just whatever. And then $5,000, right? And was it for that late hit on that charge on Burrows at the end? I think it's fine. Burrows wasn't hurt, which is good. But yeah, I don't like Nurse, but that's not much of a fine. It would be weird if any other Canuck in the future wore Luongo's one. I agree with you. That would be weird. Lucas says retired number 1 would be a difficult situation. Yeah, because Kirk McLean, who is arguably the second best goalie in Canucks history, also wore number 1. So that's a great question. Is it McLean, is it Bobby Lou, or is it both? See, this will be my 21st wedding reception that I'm emceeing. Yeah, I've done 21. 20 of them before. And back when I was getting married, or I got married back in 2000, and all my friends around that time that got married in the next 3 to 5 years, not all, but most of them asked me because there weren't a lot of people in my church community that were good at it and were doing it. Then as a few other younger people were good, they started to get asked, which is fine. But then I started to do some for not people from my church community necessarily, but there's still some, but then for coworkers and people that I've met that way. I've actually done one where I didn't even know the couple. They actually flat out hired me. Usually I don't charge if it's my friends, but I had one couple that actually paid me to MC their wedding because I didn't even know them. So I got to know them in the 3 months leading up to their wedding. So yes, this will be my 21st wedding reception that I'm emceeing. I have a formula that I like to use, and it works. It works, at least for me. Coach Rob says it would be great to retire both Luongo and McLean. Jasker and I was praying Nurse wouldn't score, and it had to be him, shorthanded out of all. Yes, that was painful. You think Kuzmenko can take us to a cup this year? No, not to a cup, but I think he can have a really good season. JDS says we will beat the Flyers on Saturday afternoon, and I'll say the Canucks will win 5-2. I like that. Coach Rob, oh yeah, when Jacob got married, you were the MC. When Jacob got married. Which Jacob? I know that recently it was Jacob and Maria, but I'm trying to think of any other Jacob. Rob, which Jacob are you talking about? I'm confused for a second, unless you're talking about the most recent one. McLean is already in the Ring of Honor. Good point, Jay. So that leads us to think that he probably won't get his jersey retired because no one has both. Fangirl, do you think former Canucks return to Rogers Arena to skate on the ice during the player intros? No, I don't think to skate on the ice, but they may bring in a few for Bieksa. But I doubt that. Now that I think about it, I doubt that either because it's not like it's a jersey retirement. So no, I don't know if they're going to bring any former Canucks. Oh, you mean as part of the intros, not Yeah, I don't know. It's not like a milestone season, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen this year. Justin, beer report, 24-ounce ones are 18 to 20 bucks. Ugh. A small one is 9 to 11. LA officiating was terrible in the last game. Yeah, although that was the turning point in the game, all the Canucks were saying that you can't just blame that. Yes, the recent one. Thank you, Coach Rob. Good memory. Mialza said, would you trade Bo if it guarantees money freed up to re-sign Kuzmenko? I think it's not that simple, but yes, some are saying that it's going to be one or the other. But if you get a good return for Bo and his asking price is going to be too much, then yeah, I think you have to look at that for sure. McLean doesn't have a Ring of Honor. He's in the Ring of Honor, Jaskrin. It's about 7 or 8 players that are Pat Quinn, Matthias Olin, others that are their names, Alex Burrows, that are around the top of Rogers Arena on the inside. Funk you, could you see a Garland or Besser trade next summer if Kuz lights it up? Yeah, I think it could make one of those guys more expendable for sure. And last comment of the night, Justin McLean, Babbage, Rhoda, and Lume are the Canucks alumni ambassadors this season. They introduced them at the staff season party last night. Now that is good intel. I love having Justin and Lucas on the inside. So McLean, Babbage, Rhoda, and Lume are the Canucks alumni ambassadors. Interesting. 1 forward, 1 goaltender, and 2 defensemen. Wonderful. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks, everyone, for being here once again. Smaller crowd tonight, but that's just fine. That means I could read almost everything that came into the chat. So moderators, thank you. Easy night tonight, but let's relish those easy nights. And members, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, legendary Andrew Chang, thank you as always. Thanks also franchise and Hall of Fame members as well. And thanks to everyone who donated tonight. That was indeed the 2 legends. It was Lucas and Justin. Thank you. And thanks to anyone who became new subscribers as part of this video. And for those of you that were on for the very first time, a very warm welcome to all of you. Okay, friends, this is it for me for this week. So I won't be streaming tomorrow, and I won't be streaming Saturday. I take Friday and Saturday off, especially Saturday. I'm going to be at the wedding. Tomorrow night, I'll be preparing for that wedding, I'm sure. But I'll be back on Sunday. I talked to Jason today. I know we're going to get some giveaways going in the next little bit. And yeah, don't forget, if you want to buy tickets from me, just email me, canuckclay@gmail.com, and I can send you my ticket list as well. So once again, thanks to everyone for being here. On your way out, subscribe. If you haven't already, like the video. Continue to leave comments, leave a late donation, gift and late membership, whatever you want to do. And if you're on the podcast platform, make sure you rate and review as well. I appreciate all of you. And oh yeah, and lastly, sponsors. Lead sponsor, Van City Experts Real Estate. Thank you. And secondary sponsor, Perform and Transform Personal Training and Weight Loss. I'm going to go prepare my script now for that wedding this Saturday. So as always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And you know, I had those problems with Air Canada a few months ago with Jacob's bowling balls. But prior to that, I actually had another bad experience, and I tried to sue the airline for misplacing my luggage. I lost my case. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.